Those of you who aren't familiar with me, my name is Carrie Richardson. I'm an author, lifestyle designer, and coach. I help people all over the world clear their clutter, quiet the noise, so they can go after what they really want to go after in life, and just get all the blocks out of the way. Anything that's getting in the way of you and living the life of your dreams is clutter. It's just noise. So I help people quiet that down. You'll find me online at carrierichardson.com. Sign up for my weekly newsletter there. Yeah, that's the deal. So, okay, Mary needs motivation to exercise. I've got one other question from someone who wrote in beforehand. So I will start with you, Mary. When you find it, send it my way. Just kidding. No. Okay, motivation to exercise. It's tricky. I was someone back in the day who was such an avid exerciser. It was like, it's so crazy to think that there was a time in my life that I missed exercise if I didn't exercise one day. That I would get up in the morning, or I planned my day the night before, so I planned tomorrow today. That I would plan my day the next day, and I would look at what I had for appointments and meetings and commitments, and it wasn't a question of will I exercise tomorrow, it was a question of when will I exercise tomorrow. So I even had one stretch there, I want to say I had like 45 or 50 days straight of exercise. That's kind of bananas. But when that ended, I was still 4 to 5 times a week. Those days have since gone by. I do hope to revisit them again. But I will say this, Mary, for you and me both, and anyone else who needs motivation to exercise. I think with anything that we're resisting, that you find that you're resisting, getting started is the hardest part. Once you get going, it's easier to keep going. It's the getting started that's the hardest. That's why it's been challenging for me. Like, I was in such a good groove for so long, and now I've been out of the groove for so long that I literally have to start all over again. But what is really cool that I have found, and you know, this also goes for anything, that just by getting started, it's amazing the difference you can feel, exercise or not. But let's say particularly with exercising. So on Saturday, is that true? On Saturday, is this true, Melissa? We worked on the house? Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. On Saturday, Melissa and I worked in the tiny house, and we were, climbing up and down ladders, and we were sanding the windows so we could paint them, and, there was just a lot of physical activity. I hit my 10,000 steps for the day, and as exhausted as I was, and as sore as I was the next day, I also had this strength about me that I miss, right? So I felt strong, my legs felt strong, I felt energized, and so it was just a nice reminder of you don't have to wait until you have 3 months of exercise under your belt to feel the benefits or the effects of it. I often tell this story that before I started that good long stretch of exercising consistently, I remember when I just started out, and I can remember distinctly being in the grocery store, shopping, picking up some produce, some fruits and veggies. So I'm in line at the grocery store, and I am, I wasn't in that place where I was like self-conscious what was in my carriage because I had healthy stuff, but I was still self-conscious about my appearance and thinking, oh my gosh, what is the person behind me thinking? Oh, look at that fat ass, or pardon my swearing, Mom. But thinking about like what, projecting my own negative self-talk onto the people around me. So I remember thinking that in the grocery store. Then I remember the very next day, I went to the gym, I exercised, and I stopped by the grocery store because I had forgotten something for a recipe I was making. And I remember standing in line, and my legs were achy from exercising, that good sore, that earned sore. And now we're talking a 1-day difference. I hadn't dropped a bunch of weight. I hadn't become this like strong, powerful person, physically powerful person at that time. But the fact that I had just done, 30 minutes on the elliptical, and my legs were sore as a result, I stood there with more pride, and the nasty messages in my head weren't there. I mean, it was just, it's not that they never came again, but in that moment, I stood tall, I stood strong. I didn't think for a second what the people around me were. I didn't project my crap onto the people around me at all. I instead stood there and reveled in the feeling of my sore legs because it felt so good. That motivated me to move them again the next day and the next day. So I say that so in hopes that it motivates both of us, that some movement is better than none. That, like, I know you hear people say this all the time, and I used to roll my eyes when people would say this too, but, you know, walk to and from your mailbox, you know, 3 times. If your mailbox is at the end of your driveway, let's say. Just start there. Or walk down to the corner. Or walk around the block. Or, you know, whatever it is. Or, you know, do, like, a yoga video in your living room. Or just do some stretching, right? I think the idea is to get back in relationship with your body when you've been disconnected with it for so long. Like, that's kind of the place I'm in right now. I have felt so disconnected from my body because I've become like a couch potato again, that it's almost like we exist separately. And I have to remind myself, no, you know, we are in this together. So I feel like that, that could help you just with starting some simple movements, as cliche as that sounds. And it literally can be, like when you're watching TV, lay on the floor and just do some stretching. Like, just stretch to feel the engagement of your muscles again in your body. The other thing that someone suggested to me years ago, and that when I remember to do it, I find is really helpful, is to take a few minutes to sit in awe of your body, of the magnificent machine that it is, and what it does for you every single day, with your pumping heart to keep you alive, you know, with your muscles that are strong, with being able to, you know, get in the car and drive, whatever it is. Spend some time in awe of your body. Like, just think about the amazingness of all of the systems having to do their job. It's a beautiful orchestra that's going on inside your body, with every part playing its part, and it can kind of make you feel pretty cool about your body again, right? So I think that could be helpful. So these are a couple non-exercise tips, but tips that I think can help you reconnect with your body. So being in awe of your body is a great one, and doing some mirror work. If you're not familiar with mirror work, Melissa, maybe you could put Louise Hay mirror work in the or find a website or something. So Louise Hay, God rest her soul, did this powerful work, or has a book called Mirror Work. And really all you need to know to get started is to spend even 1 minute. Like, I have this little mirror here. I'm going to pull it out and see if you can see it. See? There's my mirror. It's a little accordion mirror from IKEA. So I have that mirror attached to my wall right there. And what I do my hair and makeup there, but what I also do is I will occasionally do some mirror work, and all that means is I will look in the mirror and I will focus on my eyes. Mostly on my, primarily on my pupils. And I'll let myself have those couple seconds where I'm critiquing something on my face. Is that a new wrinkle? Is that a dark circle? Is that blah, blah, blah? Is that a gray eyebrow hair? Yes, I found one. Lord help me. So I give myself those couple seconds, but as my mind's wandering and the inner critic's coming up saying a bunch of crap about my appearance, I pull my focus right back to my eyes. And when I look in my pupils, and I will set a timer on my phone for 1 minute, when I spend that time looking into my eyes, I can quickly feel the shift from self-criticism to self-compassion. It's amazing. It's like a wave almost comes over your body, where this compassion just pours over you. Now, Louise Hay will say, look in the mirror and say things like, I love you, Carrie. I really love you. I haven't quite gotten there. I think it feels a little bit silly to me, but people swear by it. They think it's super powerful. I find it powerful just to look into my eyes. So I think that and spending time in awe of your body are great ways to emotionally get reconnected to the idea of exercise. And then doing some stretching in your living room just to reconnect with the feeling of your muscles and the strength of your body. Because I know you, Maria, you and I are similar. We are strong women. Like our bodies are strong. Like we have a strength about us. It's my sister Donna is the same way. She's just strong. And so I believe that our muscles have pretty good memory and can respond pretty quickly when we devote some attention to it. So I think maybe the motivation to exercise starts here and then goes to the body. So that's my vamp on exercise. Okay. Welcome, Wanda. I'm just seeing some other people that joined. Welcome, Trish. Trisha. Shouldn't just take it upon myself to abbreviate people's names, but any Trishas I know, I say Trish. All right, let's see. Sarah, I feel great about most of my clutter clearing so far. My digital clutter is giving a challenge. I know it's the I might need it issue. This is true for a small portion of paperwork as well. Yeah, Sarah, this is really common, that I might need it someday, whether it's digital clutter or paperwork clutter. And so, you know, with digital clutter, it can be a little bit easier, right? You can create a little folder on your computer and title it, I might need this someday. You know, I call it the I might need this someday syndrome, so IMNTS. So you can title the folder IMNTS, throw the digital files in there that you think you might need someday, set a reminder on your computer or your phone or something like 3 months from now, and have, you know, let that be your reminder to go back and check that folder. Did you in fact need anything from it? If you want to do 6 months, that's okay too. Like, did you need anything in it? And if not, that's probably a good indication that you don't need it. Unless it's something you need to keep for record-keeping purposes. So digital clutter is tough. So like any other kind of clutter, Sarah and everyone else, start with what's easiest. So it might be using unroll.me. I know Melissa's already on it, putting that in the chat box. Unroll.me. That works with a lot of different types of emails. I know Gmail it works with, maybe Yahoo Mail. It's a fast way to unsubscribe to a lot of subscriptions that you have, whether they're store promos, newsletters. You know, oftentimes we like grab some great resources and we end up being subscribed to things that we really probably aren't going to read. So start with the easiest digital clutter first, which is probably unsubscribing to some things. And then the other thing I do, I work on a Macintosh computer, so I'm not sure how it works on a PC, but there's a way on my computer that I can sort all the files on my computer from largest size to smallest size file. So if I really want to free up a lot of space on my computer, I will sort them large to small. But you can also sort them from the last time they were opened. So date last modified is what it's called on my computer. And you can do oldest to newest. And I found some files on there that hadn't been modified since like 2004. And when I took a quick peek at them, I was like, oh my God, I don't need this at all. And I got rid of a ton of stuff. I found that way to be really easy. So find a way where you can see all of the files on your particular computer, sort the list from oldest to newest, and start up at the top. So hopefully that is helpful. Bear with me, okay. Lindsay, can people be clutter? Someone not needed in your life if they bring you a lot of stress or non-attention? Yes, people can absolutely be clutter. That's what I call draining relationships. So if you have people in your life who you either find that you kind of dread seeing, that you don't really get excited to spend time with, or that you find that you're always chasing to spend time with, but they don't reciprocate, then it's probably relationship clutter. And so with relationship clutter, I always like to start with repair or replace. So I look at relationship clutter. If there's a relationship that's not working in my life, I ask myself, is this a relationship I want to repair? Or is this a relationship I want to replace? Do I still value this person enough? Do I care enough about them to work on repairing the relationship? Or has the relationship just run its course and it's time to just say farewell? Either literally say farewell or just drop out of touch. So that would be my first recommendation, is to identify whether it is a replace or repair relationship. If it's one that's causing you stress, I'd want to know why it's causing you stress. So thinking about, is it that they're just like a real negative Nelly, and when you talk to them, it just like drains all your energy? Do they not give as much to the friendship or the relationship as you do? And are you willing to have a conversation with them about it? So that's another way to evaluate if it's a repair or replace. Are you willing to have the difficult conversations with them to improve your relationship? And if you're not, is it because the relationship isn't valuable enough to you to have it? Or is it because you just don't know how to go about having that conversation? Because that's a different story. So there's many layers that you want to kind of peel through to determine if this relationship is worth working on. So I'd say that's your first step, Linz, is to think about, is it a relationship that you want to consider repairing? And if so, what would it take? What would that reparation look like? But yeah, people can definitely be clutter. I've had a lot of people clutter in my past, and I thought, nope, I've ended friendships, or just kind of like fallen out of touch with people because we just weren't kind of vibing the same anymore. That there's that saying of, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So if you find that you're surrounded by people who are negative or nasty or drain your energy, check in, what's your vibe? Like, check in about what kind of energy you're emanating out, because your vibe attracts your tribe. So yeah, pay attention to that as well. Wanda. Yes, twice in one day, Wanda. You're welcome. You are welcome. Yeah, unroll.me. I'm pretty sure. Can you just check that website, Melissa? Sure. I'm pretty sure it's unroll.me. Oh, my sister Cheryl was live streaming. I didn't even know that. Mark just got through watching that. You are having awesome. You got both Richardson sisters. Thanks, Mark.
That's right.
That is it. Okay, unroll.me is the right address. So anyone who wants to quickly unsubscribe from a bunch of stuff, like I'll get an email, ironically enough, but I'll get an email from unroll.me that says, hey, we've identified 85 subscriptions that you might want to evaluate. And when I go to the website, it lists them all for me in a row, and I can click unsubscribe, 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 instead of having to go and individually do them all. So it's a really efficient way to keep your email cleaned up. Okay, I am going to jump to the person who sent me in a question before I started, but really, please continue to put questions in the chat box there, in the comment section, where you could use some help. Some support. I'm just looking for the question. Sorry, I just saw that someone was humming hold music while I was having technical difficulties. That's funny. That is funny. Okay. So a person wrote to me before I went live, knowing that she wasn't going to be able to make it. And she asked... she said, something occurred to me lately with weight clutter, realizing that the reason I haven't released it yet is because although I have been physically safe and out of abusive relationships for 7+ years, I realize that I'm hanging on to the weight because I don't feel emotionally safe, even though I'm no longer in emotionally abusive relationships. I'm wondering if you have any tips or recommendations for feeling emotionally safe when you're already physically safe. That is a good question. So she has a history of being in abusive relationships, but is out of them now. So physically is safe, but is still feeling emotionally vulnerable. And that doesn't really surprise me, Kathy. I'm using her name only because she commented on my public site. So otherwise I would not be using her name. I'm just going to get back to make sure I can see your comments. Just give me 1 second while I toggle back to the appropriate page. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that doesn't really surprise me, Kathy, because I mean, emotional wounds take so much longer to heal than physical wounds, right? Like physical wounds, as difficult as they are, in whatever way that you acquire them, if you will, or suffer them, um, you know, pains and bruises and those kinds of things heal, but the emotional injury cuts so much deeper. And so it doesn't surprise me that the emotional wounds are still present. So I guess if you were here, I would ask you, what kind of emotional healing work you've done around your experience in those abusive relationships. Hey, Andrea, welcome. What kind of emotional healing work have you done in regards to those abusive relationships? Because there's a part of you that I imagine was really beaten down, literally, emotionally, during the abuse. And so imagine, like, the intuitive picture that I'm getting as I say this to you is, a cowering in the corner. This little girl who really needs some convincing that it's safe for her to step forward. And so she's going to look for that from you, from the grown-up you who was courageous enough to leave those relationships. So I would say maybe, and this is going to sound silly, but maybe even interview her a little bit. Like, I think that's where an inner child dialogue could be super powerful. And so that's something that was recommended to me years ago by a therapist. I thought it was so silly when she said this, but she said to do some inner child dialoguing, so taking out a journal or a notepad, notebook, it doesn't matter, and using 2 different color pens. So using like a traditional black or blue ink for the adult you, and using a more playful color for the younger you, so like a green or a purple or a pink or, whatever. And literally having a conversation in writing with that younger part of you. And so, your black or blue ink would, you'd write as the adult you something like, what can I do to help you feel safe? Then you put that pen down and you pick up the fun color pen. And there's something about shifting that pen that emotionally makes the shift in your mind of like, okay, now it's her turn to talk. Now it's my turn to talk. Now it's her turn to talk, etc. So there's something in the act of putting the adult pen down and picking up the little one's pen, so you can switch voices, if you will. So I think that would be a really powerful place for you to start, Kathy, is to invite her to share with you what her fears are about. So often when we get feelings that come up, our first inclination is to figure out how to solve them or fix them. But feelings aren't to be fixed. Feelings are to be felt, right? But it's just, we don't like feeling uncomfortable feelings, so we tend to just want to fix them. So how can I make these feelings go away? I don't like them. How can I make them go away? It can be numbing out with food, booze, drugs, sex, anything that can just numb you out. And that could be also part of, you said you struggle to let go of the weight clutter and you believe it's because you feel like that weight is protecting you. I absolutely agree. That part of you who really needs some reassurance that she's safe is using the weight as protection. So I think that inner child dialoguing is going to be a great first step, and you might be surprised to see some pounds fall off as well. So I really, I wish you a lot of healing. Okay, great. Anyone else have any questions for me? Any place that you could use some extra support? Are you feeling stuck? Sarah, I love the idea of the conversation with my younger self. I love the colored pen idea as well. Yeah, it felt really silly at first, but it's really it's powerful. It's just really neat. And also, with kind of doing some free writing can get you into that heart place too, that younger voice. We tend to start from our head, and so sometimes if I don't want to do the pen swap thing, I will just free write in my journal or on a pad of paper, and I'll just write whatever comes to mind, whatever going on in my mind, and so I can quiet the noise so I can get to my heart. And I usually find, for me, in like a standard size journal, it takes me about 3 pages to shut my mind up and to connect more deeply with, you know, what my heart might be wanting to say that that my head's getting in the way of. So, all right, I think I've covered everything in the comments. I'm just checking here. Okay, good.
There you go.
I got everything. Melissa tells me I got everything, so I got everything. She's the boss. Yeah, so let's see. Wanda, why are you showing up? Wanda says, when sorting things out, I don't have enough room. Does that continue for you, Melissa?
It says, should I see?
Should I see? Okay, Wanda, we'll give you a second to finish your thought. While you're finishing your thought, I will move to Wendy Bennett. I love your name, Wendy. It just makes me smile to say it. Wendy Bennett. Carrie, I'm so responsible these days. Can you talk about creating fun in our lives? Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. It's so important. So important to create fun. You know, that's something that Melissa and I both have been dealing with. You know, we've been so focused on accomplishing tasks for months now that we let fun slip by the wayside. And it is amazing how, like, intentional you have to be, right? That you don't just use downtime to, like, zone out or just, you know, zone out to TV or something. It's like, let's get some fun back. So, you know, we went to the beach yesterday. That was super fun. Actually got all the way in the ocean because I'm from, like, northern Mass, so living up there, the water was way cold. Down here, it was warm enough. So full-on swimming in the ocean was super fun. So it's really important to schedule fun in. As silly as that sounds, you know, we can be so good about planning and scheduling our tasks and our to-dos and our projects, and it can feel frivolous to even think about scheduling in fun. I say schedule in fun. I remember a long time ago, I'm looking over here because I'm going to pull it up. A long time ago, one of my sisters and I were sharing an email back and forth about if I were taking exceptional care of my little girl, I would fill in the blank. So I'm just pulling up the email. I mean, gosh, we did this, holy crap, 10 years ago. I still have the email because I refer to it a lot. I cannot believe it was 10 years ago. So anyway, so I would put some things on my list. I would email it to her. She would put some things on her list. She'd email it back to me. And we would tag team ideas for each other, which was really cool. So to incorporate some more fun into your life, think about starting with a brainstorm list. Because I think the hardest thing to get to make life fun is to think about what to do to have fun. So start with just brainstorming a list of things you can do to incorporate more fun or more self-care into your life. So I'll read you some examples off this list here just to get your wheels turning. So if I were taking care of my sweet little girl, I would dance more, make a fun playlist to listen to at least once a week, get my nails done, go to the beach some more, I have on the list, take walks outside, bike ride around the beautiful area, go to the movies by myself, take a bath, spend more time on boats. I love boats. I don't have a boat. I'm struggling to acquire friends who have boats. So if anyone has a boat and wants to be my friend, there's more qualifications than just having a boat, but that's a really great start. Melissa's over there laughing at me. Stare at the birds for a while. I do that all the time here. Like, I just took a picture of a big blue jay today outside my door. I love to just sit and listen to the bird songs. I love all the different songs. Like, I could probably drive Melissa crazy. I'm like, oh, listen to that little cutie. Doesn't that sound so cute? Nap. That's fun for me. Let's see what else. So those are just some examples. Color in a coloring book. The adult coloring books now, or even, I mean, this was 10 years ago. There was no such thing as adult coloring books. I would literally use a children's coloring book. I didn't care. Who cares? What does it need to be an adult one for? Anyway, although I have to say, side note, adult coloring book, a friend of mine had surgery recently and she's recovering and she is going bananas with boredom. Because it's a relatively long recovery. She's totally fine. She's recovering. So I sent her a little get well gift, and it was a package of markers and crayons, and it was a coloring book, and it was an adult coloring book. I put that in quotes like it's a bunch of naked pictures. It's not. It's an adult coloring book that's called Maybe Swearing Will Help. So she gets to go through and color pictures, but she also gets to color swear words, which I thought was funny. She thought was funny. She's enjoying it. I digress. So color is a way to have fun. So yeah, I would say start with brainstorming ideas for fun, because when you have the ideas at your fingertips, you're going to be more apt to actually do them. So I hope that is helpful. Just give me 1 second while I quit out of the video and go back in so my comments refresh, because Facebook. There we go. Okay. So Wendy, I hope that's helpful and to incorporate some more fun. Just start with some ideas, and if anyone else wants to throw some ideas in the comments here, ideas for easy fun, I think everyone can use some new ideas. So please share your ideas in the comment section. Okay, Wanda, when sorting things out, I don't have enough room. Should I go little by little? Yes. I'll say more. The first thing I want to say is most people, when people say to me, I don't have enough room, I say, no, you just have too much stuff. So you have enough room. You just have too much stuff. So yes, going little by little is absolutely the way to do it, whether you have the room or you don't have the room. You set yourself up for success when you go little by little. Small steps make big results. So yes, just step by step. Be careful and make sure that your resistance isn't using the lack of room as a reason to not get started. Remember how creative our resistance is. It's going to use your vulnerable points to get you to not make change. Again, not because he or she is the enemy. He or she's just scared and doesn't like change, even good change. So don't let your resistance fool you into thinking not having enough room is a reason to not get started. So I love the way you're thinking. Should you take it little by little? Yes. That's a beautiful way to respond to the resistance when it comes up. It helps it to not feel so rushed into something that it's tentative of. And it starts to build a trusting relationship between you and the resistance. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you team up together, you are a powerful duo that can accomplish anything. So don't fight against one another, partner up. So little by little absolutely is the way to go. Yes, little by little. Oh, thanks, Liam. Yeah, it was a nice beach day. I'm just so glad, like, not only did I get another beach day, which that was my third beach day of the whole summer. Wham, wham, poor me. I know. First world problems. But I live near the beach, so I should be able to go more often. But it was only the third beach day, but it was the first time I got to, like, full-on swim in the ocean. And this particular beach we went to is this beautiful little beach in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, if anyone's familiar. It's such a beautiful area. Big, beautiful houses, adorable little shops, and this little beach that mostly people just boat up to. But what's great is when I got into the ocean, no rocks, really hardly any seaweed. The bottom wasn't slimy or scary, and the waves were big, but the waves were big at a point where you could still touch the ground. So it was just, oh my God, it was a blast. So Melissa and I mean, even Melissa went in. She is a big baby when it comes to the ocean.
Hey.
You are. She'll tell you. She'll say she's not a strong swimmer. She doesn't like slimy things.
Well, because it could be seaweed or it could be a shark.
Yeah, she says it could be seaweed or it could be a shark. Okay, whatever. You're not a seal. But yes, so even she went in. This other young girl was playing in the ocean. She was kind of scared to go in on her own, so the three of us went in together. And it was just a total blast. So yes, beach, good. Kim, welcome Kim. I love your words of advice. Healing, motivating, and comforting. Thanks, Kim. I'm glad you enjoy. Mark loves the idea of the conversation with the younger self. It is pretty cool. Sounds a little weird, but it's cool. Bear with me 1 second. I'm getting a low battery on my phone, so I just want to juice it up for the last few minutes here. Beautiful. All right, let me go back in so my comments can refresh. Refresh. Facebook, you're so weird. Patsy, welcome Patsy. Hi Carrie, I like imagining that I am 10 years old again when I need fun in my life. That is a great idea, Patsy. So Wendy, look at that. That's a great way to come up with ideas too. Like, think back to what you loved to do when you were a kid. You know, I liked to climb a lot of trees when I was a kid. So I know that being in nature is something that I enjoy. So that's sorry if I made you all seasick there. That's a really cool idea. So I think that's a great idea, Patsy. Thank you. Yes, Wendy. And so then you need to schedule in the fun time. Once you come up with some ideas, schedule it in there. And make it like any other important appointment. Because it is. Sarah bought some coloring materials when the back-to-school sales were at the stores. Good idea. Love it. Leah Marie colors too. It is super relaxing. Paola, when your whole place is a complete mess and you get to improve a little but then go back to it, how can you approach it to get rid of it completely? Yeah, so this is similar to what I was saying to Wanda. It really is little by little. So I know what you're saying, like you make some progress and then it feels like you slide back, make some progress and you slide back. That's why I talk about the work that I do when I talk about understanding the message in your mess. If it's a recurring issue, if it's stubborn clutter, it's most likely a non-clutter issue. And by that, I mean that your clutter has a message for you. It's got something to say, particularly if it's recurring. So I would want you to investigate what that message could be. And again, pen to paper is a great way to do it. If nothing is coming up to write down, then start to clear some clutter with the intention of listening for thoughts, feelings, what's coming up for you. Not so much about clearing the clutter, but more about stirring the pot and figuring out what's coming up for you. So if you find that clutter is reoccurring, then it really has something important to tell you. So ask yourself, you know, what is, if this clutter was easily cleared and was gone, what would that mean for my life then? And move beyond the initial response, which will be, oh my God, that would be awesome. I would feel so free. That would be amazing. Go beyond that. Is there anything about having that clutter cleared that isn't desirable? It's going to take some digging because it's going to sound like that's ridiculous. But if that clutter is sticking around in your life, it's in your life for a reason. It serves a purpose. Partner with it as a creative partner. Don't fight against it. Just like the resistance, inquire. Have it be like an investigation, like a treasure hunt. You know, what's going on in this stuff that makes it so tough to get rid of? Is it just a systems issue? Do you need a system set up that can help you to manage it better? Or are you struggling with determining what to keep and what to let go of? As a lot of you know, my 2 rules of thumb: if you don't love it, need it, or use it, it's clutter. And then a little question I picked up from the minimalists: does this add value to my life? Let those 2 umbrella questions be kind of your gauge as to what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. But dig in and see what's going on underneath that clutter. Hope that's helpful, Paulo. All right, Wanda, you are welcome. Hold on, I'm going the wrong way here. Facebook flipped the comments on me, so hold 1 second. Am I missing anything, Melissa? Did she have her earbuds in and wasn't paying attention?
No, I'm scrolling myself.
Oh, Debbie says, when I was a kid, I loved creating artwork and riding bikes. I'm getting back into both. Riding a bike is so refreshing, so freeing. Love that, Debbie. That's a great idea, too. Okay. Yeah, creating artwork and riding bikes. You know, it's funny. So we were supposed to go to Block Island yesterday. Again, don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a little island, hence the name Block Island. in Rhode Island. It's only about an hour and a half ferry ride or so from where we live. And we were going to spend the day there. Lots of beautiful beaches there. We had rented bikes. I hadn't ridden a bike in so long, but, you know, we could bike the whole island. Then one of our cats wasn't feeling good. She's totally fine now, so any family on the call or on the video, don't worry. But she wasn't feeling good, and neither of us felt great about, because we would have been gone for about 12 or 13 hours. So neither of us felt great about leaving that long and not being able to check on her. But man, I was excited and scared at the idea of getting back on a bike, because I literally can't remember the last time I rode one. But again, for those of you who know me, if there's a combination of excitement and fear, I know it's the right thing to do. So let that be for you too. If you're feeling fear and excitement with anything, it's a sign that you're heading in the right direction. It means that you're doing something outside of your comfort zone, which is always where the magic happens. So let me do one last scan here. Melissa said, I told her it's like riding a bike. I got a little sunburn on my face yesterday. That's why I'm all like splotchy. Anywho. Okay, I'm just checking. Alright, Melissa says she thinks I covered everything, so she says so. Then I did. Yep, I'm just doing a scan too. Alright, I think I got everything. Thanks, for your patience. Oh, hold on. The other day you talked about responsibility clutter. Can you say more about that? Love that. Yeah, responsibility clutter is a form of commitment clutter, is a form of calendar clutter. When you have so many responsibilities in your life, when you're in charge of so much that you can't seem to get out of your own way. Especially nowadays, there's a lot of the sandwich generation, so there's a lot of adults who are caring for elderly parents while also still caring for children. And so that can be responsibility. Like when you have so much responsibility in your life, I would want you to stop and ask yourself, do I really need to be responsible for everything that I am currently responsible for? I guarantee you there is at least one, if not more, things or responsibilities that you can delegate out, that you can change your mind on, that you can cancel on. Sometimes when we're in charge of a lot, we tend to take on even more to be in charge of, because we're like the wheels are in motion and we're in that zone and we're like, yep, I got it, yep, I got it, yep, I got it. And then before you know it, you are showing up for everything and everyone except yourself. So if you're feeling overburdened, if you're feeling like you are just in charge of way too much, stop and ask yourself, what can I let go of? Is there anything here that I can relinquish or delegate out? So that's a little bit about relationship clutter. You're welcome, Laura. Cool. All right, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Hey, Shadi, you're welcome. Good to see you, Shadi. Which I am sure I'm not the first one to do this, Shadi, but every time I say your name, I think about go Shadi, it's your birthday. Am I alone in that? Go Shadi, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. Drink the Cardi. Okay. All right, Shadi. So that's it, though. Okay. I think I've kind of covered everything. Thank you guys so much. Good for you for taking this time to get some help, get some support. Excited to see you back here next week, and know that even when I have a topic, the forum is always open for your questions. So I can certainly speak on a certain topic, but I would much rather, well, no, I'd like to do both. Do that and also help you where you're at. So see you here next week, probably the same time. If it changes, I'll let you know. But, and if you're watching the replay, damn it, I meant to say this at the beginning. If it's not between about 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday night, you're watching the replay. Which, if you've made it this far, good for you. Go ahead and still comment. I'll be happy to respond to your comments. All right, thanks everybody. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.